Well, here at the National Farm Machinery Show in Louisville, Kentucky, we had the unveiling this morning of probably the most revolutionary thing I've seen on the show so far, and maybe for the show, and that is a corn head that is, you can actually go across the rows or with the rows, and it's still in development stages, but it's coming soon, and we'll need it for everything from lodged corn when we plant more population to drilled corn, any direction, any row spacing. So really neat. We have with us a couple of guys to talk about that, and it is
Joe Jandrich,
right,
and Wolfgang Drewer.
The independent concept of the corn head is something that most people notice right away, but it truly is a concept corn head. We're not selling this corn head now. We don't plan to introduce it for at least 3 years into the market, but it's been under development for about 8 years now, and we've invested over $4 million to this point. Our code name for the product was VC, and the first one was VC1, and now we're on VC7, and we think our VC10 is what we're going to introduce to the market. But as you pointed out, one of the things it does is independent. It's independent of the row spacing, so we can harvest 15, 20, 30-inch rows. Most farmers, though, have dedicated themselves to a particular row. So that feature in itself isn't where the true benefit is. As we see working with companies like Pioneer and Monsanto and some of the largest corn growers across the nation, we see a quest for higher yields. Over the last few decades, we've seen massive increases. We're averaging around 170 bushels now, and we expect 200 bushels plus by the year 2020. So as we start to harvest these massive crops, we see that the conventional concept of corn headers starts to break down. We can't dry fast enough. We have too much trash on the corn head. We have very huge variances. One, in the morning things are flowing well, but by the afternoon there's a lot of shatter. So we're trying to accommodate where we see the direction of corn growing. This new design allows us to do different things. First of all, we can harvest normal corn. We can harvest high moisture corn. We can harvest dry, brittle corn. We can pick up down corn. We can have the machine work in the morning and the night, and the field today and the field next year. From Wolfgang's point of view, Wolfgang is from Germany, from our factory in Germany, and he has different challenges around the world, and so it's not only the North American corn grower that we've had in mind, but it's elsewhere.
Just to complete what you're saying, 8 years, that's correct, maybe a little longer than we started building this head. There were a lot of stupid ideas, what we say, in the development, but if you don't do stupid ideas, you don't get to these results, what we have over here. I think we at VC7 right now, VC10, I think, and we are on the right direction. And we have tested this machine over the past, let's say 7-8 years in each country of the world. South Africa is really completely different than the United States. They have a row width up to 90-inch, and so they're looking always for some different kind of planting systems. You know, they plant on 90 and 60, and then plant on 36, then they plant on 22, and the next row is 90 again. And all these ideas, what farmers try to do, we try to get solutions set for.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can modify this machine. So we've made it to be adaptable. If you're harvesting in the conditions that you're describing, we may or may not want to collect some stover behind the head. So it's designed to work like a shredding head, like our conventional rotodisc series, or we can use it like a traditional knife roll head. And we also have the ability potentially to leave windrows of stover behind the head so that you can bale them. One of the more exciting ventures is the concept of solid seeding corn. So instead of moving from a 30-inch row to a 20-inch to a 15, perhaps we'll be able to harvest solid seeded corn. So the concept of a wheat drill, planting corn with the concept of a wheat drill. I know that Monsanto and a few manufacturers have tried this technology before, upping the plant population to 50,000, 60,000 seeds. The concept is there and the ability is there, and maybe they can get a 10% increase in yield with that alone, but how do you harvest it? And that's been the challenge with the historical test. And so with our independence head, we overcome that issue.